Hi, so I'm back, and it's still February 21st, and we're looking at the E-mini breakdown. This time we're looking on NinjaTrader, and it's the same story. If we look at the daily chart, we see pretty much the same stuff going on. Let me get a pointer. Um, the high, retest, 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 getting lower over time. PL dot beginning to slack off. It can't hold a trend run up, beginning down, a trend run, and then we have the big break. So notice here it broke the 5.9 right here, as well as the envelope bottom and the 1.1 low and all that kind of stuff. So it broke down. So that's what we're looking at there. If we look at it with the daily bands in mind, we put the energy bands on it, we see the same kind of thing. The energy bands are just a derivation of the envelope system that pretty much looks at the upper section of zone 5. If we look at the weekly chart, we see the same thing coming down towards the monthly PL dot. That's, as we discussed, same kind of thing. We're approaching that monthly PL dot. When we come to the monthly chart here, you see it's very close to the monthly PL dot, and is breaking down the. Well, that quarterly overlay is not quite accurate for reasons I'll explain in a second. Here's the quarterly chart, and I've adjusted the data stream so that it is accurate, and we see it coming down to the quarterly PL dot here, and the yearly PL dot coming up to meet it. So it's a very clean display and pretty much the same thing. I want to say one little trick that we found about the data series. These long-term data series like quarterly and so forth, you have to load your data based not on bars, not on days, but on a custom range. And you've got to start that custom day range at a day which starts the periodicity that you're trying to chart. So 3-month, the first day of the 3-month period would be January 1st. So then this will come out. This is not the default that comes up. If it comes up with a day default, you'll get an incorrect charting, and that's what's happened on the prior chart that I showed you, where the overlay is a little off. Okay, so this is interesting. Now I want to take it a little further and look at the lowest time period, which interests me on this E-mini chart. So I'm going to shift the display here, so hang on a second. Okay, let's take a look quickly at the NinjaTrader Holy Grail setup with the yellow brick road and so forth behind it. What we have here is basically a fine-tuned indicator. This moves pretty fast at the moment. This is a 12:14 to 3:45 in the afternoon. And I want to show how nicely we can see the shifts in the market as it goes along. Let me get a pointer here. Okay, so starting up here where it goes into the yellow brick road and exceeds the midline and so forth, but stops short of the Eotum bottom. We're seeing these green lines, which I call the spike, holding. In other words, price ends up within it. And then these green lines start to break to the bottom. They break to the downside. And as they do, the market pushes on down. The midline, the center, this red dot here, very important. When that switches sides, it pushes the market on down. As the center, which is a consensus of where the market's going to be a couple of bars out, is consistently disappointed as the market moves down in spite of it. When the center starts to hold, as in here, it's a retracement. That move is over for the moment. But here we don't see the center switch sides. It tries to, but it still stays on top. Stays on top, stays on top. The move's not over until here. We see the center switch sides. Now, all during this time, we're watching the spike hold or break. It's breaking, breaking, breaking. It's holding. It's holding. We're going sideways. Break, 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 holding. Now, on the turn bar, we see it has broken to the sideways, and then the spike holds. The center switches sides. We move up towards the PL dot. This is a clear sign that this bar is the bar. You could take action on this bar if you wished. And you'd be monitoring that as it goes up in here. Again, the spike holds, spike holds, spike holds. This move is not going to continue up very far. It doesn't look like, because all this is rolling over. The center dot has switched sides again. So that's basically how this works. You can set this up with a lower time period and monitor very precisely what happens inside the spike bar. Inside. So it's a very delicate, very quick, very accurate indicator that I like very much. We'll be talking about this more in the future. So that's all I got for the moment. We're looking for a bottom in this E-mini market. We're looking for a bottom somewhere in the region of the yearly, quarterly PL dot, and that's what we think is going to be happening. And the yearly is pushing up, the monthly is pushing up. We're looking for support to start holding, but probably not until down into the 390 area. So that's where we are at the moment. I'm going to cut this off and we'll see where we go.